Did you know that song is 9 minutes long? It's never occurred to me to like click on that song before, right? But I was thinking like, ooh, I gotta play some scary music. I gotta play something spooky, and this song, Toccata and Fugue in D minor, is 9 minutes long, and I feel like I'm gonna have to listen to it at some point. Hello, everybody. So, as indicated by the spooky music, we have ourselves a very frightful kind of night tonight. Oh, also there needs to be music. Hang on. There we go. Let me turn on some. There we go. I've got a good old fashioned Nintendo spooky Halloween playlist. Chinese Snow Pedal, thank you. So, tonight we have done Halloween tier list before. We've done maybe we've done a couple candy tier lists. We've done some things here and there. But what we've never done is rank the stars of Halloween, right? That being, well, I mean, I guess the stars of their respective movies and not specifically Halloween, but movies that you would watch around Halloween. We've never ranked them before. 87 images. Oh, yeah. No, there's a bunch of them. There's plenty to yap about. So, get your popcorn, get your licorice, get your big thing of root beer, because we have a lot of monsters to go through. And we have a bonus tier list after that, so make sure you stay around. So, some deep holes in there. Not all of them are winners, but that's why there's a tier list. So, let's go ahead and get started. Now, when it comes to ranking them as icons, it's probably a combination of things, right? Like how scary they are, how well known they are, how charismatic they are. You know what I mean? It's just a combination of things. But I would imagine that's largely how well known they are, right? How impactful, I suppose. So, first one, I think that's Norman Bates. I don't really consider him to be like... He's an important, like, film character, but I don't know if he's, like, a horror icon, you know what I mean? He's not quite on the same level as some of these other guys. I'm gonna put him, like... I'll put him in, like, C tier, and that's not like a bad C, right? That's not like you're mid, whatever. It's more like the whole point of your movie is that they don't know it's you until the end, right? The film is more impactful than the character. I agree. That's a good way to put it. I've never seen Psycho. I just know of Psycho. I know he's the main character of Psycho. I feel like the shower scene where he stabs that lady is more important than him. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put him in C. He's not really that iconic. All right, The Exorcist girl. This is the one from the first movie. Now, I'm gonna be real. As a specific character, I don't know her name, right? I don't know the name of the little girl. But I can say that this face and this, like, character is pretty darn iconic. Also, Giga, thank you. You almost a year. That's almost 2 years, my man. You gotta give yourself some credit. Thank you. Oh, holy shit. Dino. Wow, okay, thank you for the gift subs. Holy moly. I was in the middle of a drink. Thank you. Oh my god, sorry, I've got like phlegm in my throat today. Alright, so I'm gonna put her a little higher. Like, this is the face of like the Screamer, jump scare thingy from the 2000s, right? But it's the Exorcist girl. Let's put her in B. Like, I don't remember her name. I know that she has a name. What's her name? Regan McNeil? See, I don't know that. The demon that inhabits her is more important than her, I guess. And Exorcist, there's like a bunch of different characters, right? I don't know. I'm gonna put her in B just to be nice. Like, she is iconic. There's no denying. She's more iconic than Norman Bates. But there's some others down here that I think, would be a little bit higher. I don't know who this is. Can someone tell me who this is? It's just a shadow of a person with, like, I think he's lifting something. This is a strange picture. S-Rank, thank you! Thank you as well for the gift subs. Oh, mamma mia. Y'all are spoiling me. That's Billy, the phone killer from Black Christmas. See, I'm gonna keep that in Who, because I know of Black Christmas, but the actual character from Black Christmas is, like, nothing. Now bounce for us! Okay, that's fine. I didn't get these things not to bounce them. Also, if the music is too quiet, let me know. I can barely hear it. Let me turn it up just a little bit. Let me make the... Just so I have more control over the thingy. Yeah, okay. That's a little bit better. Alright. Now we're getting into, in fairness, the identity of Billy is in question. The question mark the whole movie, literally only have a suspicion who it is. Yeah, like, I'm not saying it's bad, but he's not iconic. You know what I mean? No one knows who this character is. So, alright. Leatherface. Leatherface is an easy A. That is one of the most iconic horror movie villains of all time. Even though he basically has the intelligence of a child, you know what I mean? He's still a scary motherfucker. Like, that whole family is scary. You know, the, what is Leatherface's family's last name? They have a last name. Oh my god, I don't know their last name. What are the Texas Chainsaw Massacre family's name? Sawyers? See, I had no idea. I just know some of their names. His name is Bubba Sawyer. Yeah, he has a name, but he's Leatherface. I don't know, man. He's fucking scary. He has multiple, like, stitched skin masks. He's just... you know, I don't want to say he's like a rampaging monster. He's definitely not quite as scary as some other characters, like Art the Clown or whatever. But that's Leatherface, man. He definitely deserves an A. All right, Jaws, or I guess the shark's name is Bruce, right? It has a name. It's a shark. Like, yeah, it's the shark from Jaws, but it's a shark. It's as scary as any other shark to me. So, I'm gonna put... He is iconic, but it's also a shark, you know? I'd say the pose for him is more iconic than the character. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in, like, D, you know? Because, yeah, he is scary. I'm not a fan of sharks. I think they're scary. Well, I like shark characters. I'm not gonna lie. I'm friends with many sharks. I don't want to say I don't like sharks. But real-life sharks are scary. They bite you. So, I'm gonna put him in D, though. Because it is just a shark at the end of the day. Like, they went into the water. They went to his place. I mean, then again, that's how it is with Leatherface, too. You know what I mean? Okay, so... Carrie... I'm gonna put her on the same level as, like, Norman Bates, you know what I mean? Like, it's an impactful, important, like, character, but I wouldn't call it, like, a horror icon like Leatherface, you know? Carrie is someone who... I actually haven't seen her mother, or, I'm sorry, her movie. Also, if you guys want to be like, oh, okay, sharks aren't that bad, hey man, that's fine, but I've known surfers who are like missing limbs, and that shit sticks with you. So, thanks to sharks. So I'm not the biggest fan of real sharks. Just saying. Anyways, back to Carrie. Like, she's basically a psychic girl that gets bullied into basically killing everyone, right? Yeah, her mother is the real antagonist. I don't put her on the same level, though. Again, important movie character. Less of an icon, though. You know? Who is this? Why do I feel like I know this kid? I don't know this kid. Is this the hear me out tier list? This is the... listen, this is my opinion. I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is. I'm gonna put him in who. Like, I feel like I should know him. Damien? What's Damien from? Again, I figured his name was Damien. The kid from The Omen. Yeah, I didn't recognize him, I'm sorry. I have nothing to say about him. I'm gonna put him in who, just so I'm not yapping about nothing. Alright, I don't know what this is. This just looks... I don't even know what I'm looking at. I can see the mouth and the nose and the eye. It's not the weird thing from Eraserhead. Is it? I don't know. It looks like an AI generated image. No, that's not the baby from Eraserhead, is it? No, it doesn't look like it. I'm not gonna say he's a horror icon. Like, he's a big who for a lot of people. Let's not lie. Like, Eraserhead is an interesting work of art, but he's not the villain. He's also not a horror icon. He's an interesting, scary thing about that movie. Alright, I have no fucking idea who that is. That's a scary-ass face, though. If anyone recognizes this, let me know. See, I recognize, like, 99% of these. Just some of these are just like, who? But now, we're getting to the good ones. Michael Myers is an S tier. Like an easy S tier. That's Michael Myers, man. Like, Michael Myers is literally the OG, like, masked killer. You know what I mean? And not only that, the genius of this character is his simplicity. Like, yeah, there's a lot of horrible sequels with him, right? But if you just count, like, you know, Halloween 1 and 2, and then maybe, like, the reboot trilogy, and I also like the Rob Zombie movie, the fact that he's just a thing that shouldn't exist, I think, kind of elevates him a lot over, like, a lot of characters, right? Like, I like a good goofy character. I like a good, like, slasher character who's over the top. But there's something just so special about Michael Myers, and that's definitely persisted, right? When it comes to, like, masked killer movies or characters just in general, this guy is the king of them. Not only is he the first one, like, there's no explanation for him. He can't really... He can be hurt, but he just kind of doesn't care, and he gets up. You can shoot him, and then he'll just stand up, you know? He doesn't talk, he doesn't make noise, and he doesn't really have a clear motive other than just to kill. He's just an evil thing that shouldn't exist, and that's what I like about him. He's like a force. He's got that mojo, baby. Oh, yeah. No, Michael Myers is a very strong one to start kind of early with, because, like, come on, that's Michael Myers. Also, I don't know why, I really just love his mask, too. Like, the Michael Myers mask is easily one of my favorite masks. Maybe I'm a little biased, you know, I love Halloween, but, God, it's just, I love how simple he is, you know? And he's scary, the way he moves, like, the way he looks in the dark, and the way that he kind of moves like he's just like a possessed robot, you know what I mean? Good character. Alright. I guess that's the Xenomorph? From... Yeah, the Xenomorph from Alien. This guy's pretty damn iconic, right? I'd say... It's not my favorite creature, but it is pretty... You can't deny that Xenomorphs are so iconic that whenever you see, like, evil, eyeless aliens in other things with long heads, it's a Xenomorph. A for alien, yep, absolutely. Like, obviously, when I think of horror icons, I think of more, like, humanoid characters. But there are aliens and there are Xenomorphs, you know what I mean? It's basically just like a classification of alien culturally at this point. So, Yeah, E. A. Wow, I forgot what letters were for a minute. I apologize. Xenomorphs are still sexy even when they're not drawn I knew there'd be a couple of you in here. I knew there'd be at least one person that'd be like, oh man, I want to fuck the xenomorph. I've seen, plenty of my mutuals have drawn xenomorphs with huge tits before. So, sure, why not? Also, GameWiz, thank you for the sub. BZ, everyone triggers them. But triggers, wow. I need to recenter my universe for a second. Even Trigger references them. Everybody references them. Every cartoon you've ever seen has a xenomorph at some point. All right. That is Jack from The Shining. Okay, so I'm gonna put him above Norman Bates. No. He gets elevated. This is one of those weird cases where he's not a Jason or a Freddy or whatever, but he and his movie both elevate each other to the point where they're both iconic equally. And that line where he shoves his face in the door and says, "Here's Johnny," like immediately brings it up. Also, we have a schmoovin'. A wobble? Cake, I got home from a job interview and it went pretty well. Yes! Good job, my man. I will give you a wobble for that. Also, if you've never seen The Shining, you really need to see The Shining. How scary Jack is depends on how scary you think abusive domestic partners are. Yeah, no, there's a lot of scenes that are so fucking, like, uncomfortable in that movie. Like, when he's just sitting on the bed and he calls, you know, his son over and just sits down with him. Like, ugh, gives me the willies. This movie is so good. But I'm giving himself a B, you know? He's not the same kind of iconicness as these characters. Luigi? Hang on. We're gonna skip that because I don't feel like listening to someone hum. He's horror because he's basically real. Yeah. Alright, Jason. Jason is an S tier when it comes to like a horror icon. You know what I mean? Jason is one of those characters who is so iconic when it comes to horror. Honestly, his mask is more iconic than Michael Myers. Like, I think Michael Myers is higher up on the list of, like, iconic characters. But Jason, I'm gonna be real with you. If you had to pick a single horror movie character to be the main character of horror movies, it's Jason. Like, kids were wearing Jason masks before even ever having watched the movie. You know what I mean? Oh, we gotta moisturize? Why, thank you. If we're talking like iconic, they're iconic for different reasons, right? Like, this guy started it. This guy is the main character of horror movie characters. You know what I mean? I don't even know what else I need to say. When you think of a horror movie slasher, this is the guy you think of. You know? Alright, now on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Jason Voorhees' mom, who is the surprise main character, the surprise main villain of the first movie. You know? She's definitely more well-known than some of these, but I'm gonna put her in D, because... like, yeah, people who like Friday the 13th know her. She's not Jason Voorhees, though. Hell, people would like recognize Carrie before her. All right, Ash Williams. Now, this isn't like a movie villain. This is actually like a movie hero. I'm gonna put him in A. I love Ash so much, dude. Like, when you think about it, he's actually the first, like... he's, like, the most iconic like action movie, like horror movie main character, you know? Also, Mr. Darktails, thank you for the 100 bits, by the way. A for Ash, yeah. I think A for Ash works. He's not S tier. I'm so sorry. Like, people know Michael Myers and Jason, but there are people that don't know Ashley Williams. Which, if you don't, you're missing out. Because Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness are incredible movies. YouTube is down. Hey, that's fine with me. That means that you've got nothing better to do than to watch me. So, although shit, my music's on YouTube. Oh no. Okay, whatever. I love Ash. Ash is he's so cool. He's such an asshole too. You really need to watch Evil Dead one day. Oh, please do. Okay, here's the thing about Evil Dead, all right? You don't actually need to watch Evil Dead 1 because Evil Dead 2 is both a remake and a reboot and a sequel of Evil Dead. So, technically the first movie does happen. You know what I mean? Like, it does happen, but the second movie is a redo of it, and it's way better. So, go watch Evil Dead 2, and then Army of Darkness is just straight up one of my favorite movies of all time. It is a comedy horror movie. Like, if you watch any Evil Dead movie, well, probably watch 2, but, like, my personal recommendation is watch Army of Darkness, which is 3. I'm putting him in A. This is a gas mask man. I don't know who this is. I don't... Stalker? I don't know. is that basket case? Okay, I'm gonna put my own my own biases aside because I think basket case is really funny, and Happy Hoagie loves basket case. This is like one of his favorite characters to reference. But is he a horror icon? I don't know. I don't think so. I like him. He's extremely goofy, but he's not a horror icon. He's not like Norman Bates. Okay, The Thing. This one is rough because The Thing, the movie, it would be S tier as far as like a horror movie goes, right? But The Thing itself doesn't have a form. It basically like takes on a grotesque version of the thing it's taking. You know what I mean? And it's got some fucking horrifying scenes. But let's just be when you think about The Thing, you think about the guy whose head is being ripped off, right? So I'm going to put it pretty high up on the list. I'll put it in like B, you know? Like it's an iconic thing, but it doesn't have a solid form. It comes in many forms, you know? I think about the dog. The Thing is S. See, and I don't put it in S. I don't put it in S because it's harder to, like, I guess relate to and form a solidified image in your head of what it is, you know? So I'm going to put it in B. I love The Thing. It's a great movie. I don't know what this is. That's a lady. With a red neck, I suppose. Alright. Christine. The car? I mean, it's probably iconic to someone. But I don't know, man. I'm going to put it on the same thing as, like, Jaws. You know? Because it's a car. Oh, Sleepaway Camp? Not a horror icon, but she's notable enough. Yeah, I wouldn't say the car itself is a horror icon. I think that, like a really die-hard horror person would look at that car and be like, oh shit, that's Christine. But she doesn't have the same iconic status as these. You know what I mean? Stephen King's name carries it. Yeah, I would say so. All right, that's Cujo. That's a rabid dog. That is not a horror icon. I'm sorry. Like, one, I've never... I'm not... And this isn't judging Cujo as a movie or a story. It's a rabid dog. I'm putting it in D. Like, hell, Jason Voorhees' mom... I'm putting Jason Voorhees' mom in C. I'm looking at these characters, and it's like, that's Mrs. Voorhees. Let's put her up here. Like, she's a little bit more well-known, I guess. Okay, that's Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is also up there in S tier. Like, these are the big three. Like, easily. When you think of, like, horror movie villains, any of them, really, like, these are the guys you think of, you know? Freddy is not my personal favorite, but god damn is he, if he isn't iconic. Like, the amount that he gets referenced, the amount of... you can tell the guy playing him has had a lot of fun. the Mount Rushmore of horror movies. Oh, yeah. Fun fact, I've actually only ever seen one Nightmare on Elm Street, and it was the first one. And I was not the biggest fan. I've heard that 3 is pretty good. It's one of those things I need to do someday. But either way, that's Freddy Krueger. You know him. You know Freddy Krueger even if you haven't seen any of the movies. I'd argue the big 3 is Jason, Ghostface, and Michael Myers. Nope. No, no, no. Big no. Big disagree. Huge disagree. And I will show you, I will explain why once we get to him. Is he iconic? Yes, but he is no Jason. Jason, for one, is a consistent character. Alright, that's Gizmo. Gizmo's not a horror icon, he's cute. When I think of Gremlins, like, yeah, I think of Gizmo, but he's not a... Baby. That's Gizmo, man. I'm not... Let's make it green. He gets the baby tier. I would pet Gizmo, and I would not feed him after midnight. Are the Gremlin movies horror? They are horror comedy movies, yes. They're Christmas horror comedy movies, actually. I know the first one is. Yeah, the Gremlins are the monsters. Gizmo's a good guy, so I'm putting him in baby. Alright. That's the plant from Little Shop of Horrors. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I watched this movie for the first time maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And because it was one of those movies that everyone was like, oh my god, it's so good, I love that movie, blah, 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 blah. I don't like this movie in the slightest. I was just like... I don't know, I just frowned the whole time. I didn't like it. The plant is very high up there. Yeah. You're not wrong. He's not... Fuck, you know, he gets B tier. He gets the B tier. The Feed Me Seymour plant, he is iconic, regardless of whether or not I like the movie. Which, that's not what this is about. Let's get that out of the way. But I do see him referenced a lot. I do see him in things quite a bit, and everybody knows Feed Me Seymour, you know, when he's talking to Rick Moranis, and he's singing, you know. I'm just a mean green mother from outer space and I'm bad. Yeah, like, yeah, okay, he's iconic. I've proven my point. I can sing his songs. Yeah, he's a B tier. I'm gonna put him like... I'll put him like here. Alright, Pinhead. Pinhead is pretty iconic. I don't think he's as iconic as the others, but that is Pinhead. I think everyone knows Pinhead. Like... I've never seen a Hellraiser movie, and he's all over the place. Who you calling Pinhead? Like, I wish I could talk about him more. I know the basic concept of Hellraiser, but the character himself is pretty damn iconic. So, I'll put him in A tier. Alright, Predator. Predator is not quite as iconic as Pinhead, but... I would say the Predator is... or I should say, let's compare it more to the Alien, right? When you think of Alien versus Predator, you're probably thinking of Xenomorphs first, right? I don't know if it deserves to be A. Maybe like high B. Because it is a Predator. I look at that and I'm like, yeah, that's a Predator. But he's not A tier. I'm sorry. The Alien is a little bit more iconic. Predator is action first, Alien is horror first. You are right. Although I consider Predator movies to be horror-esque. The Predator is always associated with the Alien now. That's a good point, actually. That sells it. Because when you think Alien, you think Alien. When you think Predator, you think Alien versus Predator. He is pretty high up there. I'm going to give him like a B. Okay, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is technically, I mean, Beetlejuice is a horror comedy, but I think the horror and comedy is so balanced that he's just an iconic character. If we're talking... horror doesn't have to just be like, oh, that movie is scary, you know? Because I gotta put Beetlejuice in A. Like, the dude is iconic, right? 1, everyone loves Beetlejuice, the movie. 2, Michael Keaton's performance as him is just so good and unique. And he has like a weird Texan accent, and he's goofy. He's likable, but he is the antagonist too. Like, yeah, no, he's an easy A. I am more than okay putting Beetlejuice in A. All right. Chucky. Chucky is pretty damn iconic. Yeah, no, I have to put him in A. He's very well known. He has a consistent character, and you recognize him from a mile away. He's not an S. He might be an S, but I've always considered him kind of like lower, just a little bit lower than you know, these guys, right? Like, these guys are the big boys. Chucky is like up there, right? Like, he's pretty damn high up. I'll put him. But he ain't these guys. I'm sorry. He is a high A. I will give him a high A. I'll put him above the Alien. He's like an A+. I agree. I agree. I actually watched Child's Play for the first time. Child's Play 1 and 2. Maybe like 3 years ago for the first time. And they're pretty decent movies. Like, I don't really think they're as scary anymore because Chucky is so outspoken, you know? But he's pretty damn iconic. Alright, Elvira. Elvira is not the same kind of character as, you know, these, who are either monsters or characters from a movie. Elvira is a personality. Elvira is basically like the old TV version of a Twitch streamer, right? She was like a person who hosted a horror movie marathons. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she is really goddamn iconic though. Like, that's easy A tier. Like, because it's to the point where, like, when you think of a horror movie host, she is the one. But yeah, it doesn't say movie. It can just be horror icon. Yeah, no, she's an A. She's right there, right up here with all these big boys. Which is unique, because she's not even like a character from a movie. She's her own character. She's a horror sex icon, more or less. Hey man, Elvira is funny. Like, I actually really like Elvira. Also, the person that plays her, Cassandra Peterson, is so goddamn nice. What a lovely person. But that aside, Elvira is Elvira. She's, you know, I may be slightly biased. Hang on, it's not. I may be slightly biased against Elvira. She does have a movie, it's true. But that's not why she's famous. Yeah, you're thinking of the Simpsons character Lapierre. That's Booberella, based on Elvira. But the great thing about Elvira, and this is one of the things I love about her, is that most of the time, like, you could parody Elvira, but if you just probably ask her to appear in something as Elvira, she'll just do it. Like, she's really cool. So I'm gonna put Elvira in A tier. Everyone knows who Elvira is, even if you never sat through like the movie marathon things with her. You know who she is. All right, Bride of Chucky. I've never seen Bride of Chucky, and I'm really sorry to say this, but like, Bride of Chucky is like maybe a. I'm putting her in like a low D, and that's not because that's nothing against the character. She ain't Chucky though. You know what I mean? Richter, it's not Barbie, it's Tiffany from Bride of Chucky. She does have huge boobs. I mean, that's kind of cool, but that doesn't put her in Norman Bates territory. All right, the killer clowns from outer space. Again, nope, nothing against her. It's just... Alright, let's keep going. Killer clowns. Are they iconic? They're getting more iconic, I think, as time goes on. Like, when this movie, I guess, first came out, it wasn't really liked all that much. That's just an alien race, yeah. They're getting more iconic. That's the thing. They're getting up there. Like, I gotta put them in B. B for clown. Because I'm seeing them way more, and I'm noticing more people, like, knowing who they are more, just from mitosis. Not mitosis. What do you call when you just absorb? Is that mitosis? When you're just, like, absorbing something? I heard that movie is a train wreck in slow motion in a good way. I disagree. I actually quite unironically enjoy that movie. It is a movie that knows exactly... Osmosis, thank you. Yeah, I know, mitosis is cellular division. Listen, man, I draw boobs and I stream. I don't know nothing about no damn science. But anyways, the Killer Clowns, that movie is good. That movie is actually good. It is a movie that knows exactly what it is. It knows it's silly, and the people making it had fun making it, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I think your one brain cell needs to perform mitosis. Shut up. It's not trying to be a horror masterpiece, it's just trying to be goofy. Yeah, that's what I like about it. It's kind of... I don't want to put it on the same level as like the Minecraft movie, right? Because the Minecraft movie is not a good movie, but it is fun, and it knows it's stupid. But I like its sincerity for how self-aware it is for its concept being dumb and funny. It's good. I'm going to put them in B, though, because they're not quite Beetlejuice iconic. Like, you're not going to see as many people wearing Killer Clown t-shirts or costumes as you are Beetlejuice. But, like, they're getting more and more well-known because more and more people are giving that movie a chance. Sad news, they're making another Minecraft movie. Good. Good. You know why? I'm not a Minecraft fan at all, but I actually enjoyed that movie, and I'm okay saying that. Like, I thought I was going to go into that movie just hating it, and I had a good time with it. Is it a good movie? No. Are there things about it that are completely pointless? Absolutely. The kid character, it just doesn't need to be there. The sister character and that one real estate lady don't really need to be there. But Jack Black and Jason Momoa just make that movie. They're so good. It's a dumb movie, but it tells you from the first 5 seconds it's a dumb movie. Alright. Anyways, I don't know who this is. This is a child. Who is this? That could just be any child. This is the kid who gets yeeted by a truck in Pet Sematary. I'm going to put it in who, because, yeah. Alright, this is an interesting one. I didn't expect to see this. This is the character from Misery, which is, weirdly enough, one of the few Stephen King books I've actually read. Like, Also, thank you for the moisturize. I have the Plowed and Proud Gamer Subs flavor tonight, which is apple and cranberry, and it's really one of my new favorite flavors. Super good. All right, but back to... Also, you can use code CAKE for 10% off your gamer subs order. Now, I forget her name, right? But, god damn, the performance of this character... I feel bad, because it's been a long time since I've seen it. But the performance of this character is very, very on point with the book, right? I'm gonna put her up here. This is a good C. This is not... C isn't bad, it's just iconic. I want to put that through. Misery is a pretty good story, right? Now, I will say the movie tames it down slightly because the book is a lot more violent. But her performance is so uncomfortable and awful in the best way possible. Like, awful as in the character is just so oppressive and scary and cruel, you know? If you haven't seen Misery, basically what it's about is a horror writer, or he's not a horror writer, I think he's just a writer, who is ending his book series, ends up, you know, getting in a car crash in a snowstorm, and this lady, who's his biggest fan, you know, basically nurses him back to health. But she is also very upset that he's ending the book series, and she wants him to continue it. So she, this man who is, you know, broken in bed, she basically tortures him to get him to continue the story that he is famous for. It's a really, like, painful story. She breaks his leg. Oh, okay, I'm just gonna be real with you. In the book, she cuts his fucking foot off, right? That was my first exposure to Misery, was the actual book. In the movie, she breaks his ankles with a sledgehammer. But in the book, she straight up, like, cuts his foot off. So it's worse. It's more painful. She does way more shit than that, too. But, either way, the character, pretty iconic, not quite like these, though. Alright, so Pennywise from It. This is the Tim Curry version. If we're talking, like, iconic, I do think he's been surpassed by the remake one a little bit. But you really can't beat him. I'm gonna put him like a high B. He's not an S. He's not an S. I don't think he's an S. But you know what? I will give him an A. I'll give him an A. I'll give him an A. Everyone knows Pennywise, especially the original one. And he's not that hard to, you know, be recognizable. He's Tim Curry as a clown making jokes. To the point where I actually can't watch that movie without laughing now because he's just genuinely a funny character. You know? Like, yeah, I'll give him A. I'll give him A. Everyone knows the original Pennywise. And while we're here, let's get the other one out of the way. Let's get the new one out, right? I vastly prefer this Pennywise, right? I vastly prefer this version of It. I think it's genuinely a lot scarier. But is the new Pennywise as iconic as the old one? At this point, I'd say absolutely. I would say that that movie culturally is elevated to the point where people... I think they're equal. Because when the average person thinks of Pennywise, they don't immediately default to Tim Curry anymore. They go to this guy. Like, do I think Tim Curry's is iconic? Yes. Do I think that Bill Skarsgård's version, it's its own thing. It's not trying to be like the original. But when I think of Pennywise, I do think of this guy. That's how good it is. Recency bias isn't even a factor. I think the new one is just well enough. Yeah, he's well known. Like, he's well performed, and everyone thinks of this Pennywise, even in modern day. So I'm gonna put him in A. Which is just great, honestly. Like, I don't think anyone expected the remake of It to be any good. And the fact that it was so good and, like, better than the original. What about the book version of Pennywise? The book version is more close to Tim Curry's where he just looks like a normal clown. The way that the book describes him is that he's a very typical clown, like a combination of Ronald McDonald and Bozo. Like, there's nothing super special about him, clown-wise. It's just that he's a clown. I don't know what this is. It might as well be an AI-generated mess, and I know that someone's gonna get mad at me for that, but can you, honestly, can you blame me? What am I looking at? A seashell with prongs and a tongue? That's the Tremors worm. Alright, I've never seen Tremors, I'm really sorry. This is my own bias, I have no idea who that is. I know of Tremors, but I've never seen the movie. And I've never seen anyone reference the graboids from Tremors either, so we're gonna put that in who? Alright, that's Hannibal Lecter. That's an easy A tier. That's so much of an A tier that you don't even need to see his face to know that that's Hannibal Lecter. That mask is like, yeah, no, that's Hannibal Lecter. Having only seen that movie a couple times, like, I can definitely see why Silence of the Lambs is so goddamn beloved. It is a really uncomfortable movie. It's a good one, too. Where the only person that the main character can rely on in any way is this guy, and he's a fucking asshole. Like, he's evil, but he's also the literal only person who treats the main character with respect and even kind of helps her, you know? So it's, but he himself is like, you know everything about Hannibal Lecter. He's like a polite, sophisticated, genius person who eats people. And he doesn't just eat people, he prepares them in fancy ways because he's a sophisticated, refined man. He's just got that look, though. He's an A, though. Hannibal Lecter, he eats rude people. He'll eat people. He's not a good guy. I haven't seen Hannibal. This is the movie version. Candyman. Candyman is, he's like a low B. I'm gonna say Candyman's low B, because, like, he is an intriguing character, but I can't put him on these guys' level, you know? He's more of a tragic character than some of these. You don't see him as much, though. I never saw the new Candyman. I know it's about, like, an artist or something. The original Candyman is a movie that, I like parts of it, but there's other parts that make me laugh really hard, like when he is just popping up randomly around her apartment, and, like, he just appears behind her mirror. I can't look at that scene any other way now. But as far as the character being iconic, he's known. He's known. He's definitely, like, in the upper half, but he's not an A. Wait, did he actually die? Oh, man. Oh my god, the fucking leprechaun. I wouldn't say he's like an iconic horror movie villain. He's kind of his own thing, isn't he? This sad-ass music. This is not appropriate Halloween music. This is like... There we go. There's some Halloween music. Okay. I really don't know where I'd put Leprechaun. Like, everyone knows of him. You know, everyone knows how silly and stupid his movies are. God. That's the thing, because it's like, do you really want to put him on the same level as, like, Jack and the Exorcism girl? He can't be a D, man. He can't be a D. He's not a B, though, either. I'll put him in B. God damn it. He has a cult status. I'll put him in B. B is fine. Like, it feels wrong putting him next to Candyman, though, you know? Like, it's two completely different definitely two different things. But everyone knows Leprechaun. Everyone's at least seen, like, footage of the Leprechaun blowing that one lady up. Yeah, see, the blue bot immediately, or rather bimbo inflation death scene. Yeah, we've all seen it. But I'm just going to put him in B and leave him in that. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. This is Ghostface. So, Ghostface is a unique being in that Ghostface is not a specific character. He is not some... He is pretty vicious, but he's not like this skilled kind of like killer because he's an alias. He's literally a costume and a voice that is worn by different people to sort of, you know, get their own stuff to happen. But if we are talking about like original, if we were to pin an iconic Ghostface, it would be Billy Loomis from the first movie, which I saw for the first time very recently. And it was a decent movie. It felt like a satire horror movie. I can see why Scary Movie was made. Ghostface's mask also predates his movie, which at the point he's very generic. Alright, I actually saw an interesting video essay. We're going to go into a little side tangent here. We're going to yap for a second. The Ghostface mask is a ripoff of a design that another guy did, which was basically... It was originally a make-your-own ghost kit, where you would take a bed sheet, and then using, like, you know, arts and crafts stuff, you would have this face that you would then put onto it, and basically make your own, like, advanced sheet ghost thing. And the dude who made it, like, basically walked away from, like, horror mask stuff. And this other company just straight up stole that design, and then and made, like, a mask out of it, and then that's what Ghostface's mask is. So... I also saw Scream 1 recently. I fucking loved it. It felt like a celebration slasher. It is. It's definitely both a satire and a real horror movie. However, let's talk about how iconic he is. Does he belong on the Mount Rushmore of horror icons? No. And I'll tell you why. He is not a solid character. However, how iconic is he? You know what? No, he is an S tier. He is an S tier. Even though I don't think he compares to these three at all, right? As in his actual context, which he is not even always a he. He is an it. He is an alias. He is a mask and costume that people, you know, wear. But that's Ghostface, man. Everyone knows Ghostface. Like, I even dressed up as Ghostface once as a little kid, and I had never seen Scream. I even had the bloody one, right? Like, fuck, man. Even I dressed up as Scream, or Ghostface, so... It is one of the most iconic horror beings. Even if he's not, like, a Jason Voorhees, he's up there. And saying anything else would just be wrong, and I have to take it back from when I think BZ was like, oh yeah, Ghostface needs to be up there. First off, Freddy Krueger is above Ghostface. There's no denying it. But yeah, he's Ghostface. Where's Norman Bates? Norman Bates is in C because he's Norman Bates. All right, I don't know who this is. That's a who. I'm putting that in who. Ghostface and Leatherface could be interchangeable on Mount Rushmore. I think Ghostface is more iconic. He has a more consistent look. And Leatherface is someone who gets kind of put through the ringer. I mean, so does Michael Myers, let's not kid ourselves. But just pure icon power, like, these are the guys, you know what I mean? Ghostface is higher than Leatherface. Let's continue. So, one of these is from The Ring and the other's from The Grudge, right? I literally can't tell. I know it's a sin, but I haven't seen either one of those movies. Like, one is Sadeko, I think her name is, and the other is... They are pretty goddamn iconic, so I'm gonna go ahead and put both of them, like, really high. Like, let's not kid ourselves. These two are pretty... Kayako is the Grudge, and Sadako is the Ring. The Ring is higher than the Grudge. The girl who, like, climbs out of the well. I'm actually gonna put her up here with the others. I think she deserves it. Like, everyone knows the image of her climbing out of the well. You know what I mean? Blair Witch. That's the movie poster. Why is this on the list? This isn't a character. The Blair Witch is like... Is it referring to, like, the little stick people? Oh my god. I'm not even ranking that one. That's not... Blair Witch Project doesn't feature a known character. It's a group of teenagers in the woods. Or college students in the woods doing a documentary. The movie poster was the real villain. It's not very iconic. I'm gonna put it in D just to get it out of the list. Alright. Interesting, a video game character. That is Pyramid Head. And I recognize Pyramid Head, even though it's the world's tiniest picture of Pyramid Head, but I guess you gotta show him. See, I wasn't even considering, like, video game versus movie characters. I'm putting Pyramid Head pretty damn high. I wouldn't say he's as iconic as, like, Chucky. But when you think of, like, horror movie, like, video game characters... first off, Pyramid Head is the most iconic villain from Silent Hill, as the entire franchise goes, right? Silent Hill had movies. Yeah, we don't talk about them. They're bad. Every Silent Hill movie I've seen was horrible, and it made me wish I was playing the game instead. The first movie especially is ass. Now here's the thing. We're not judging the character based on how bad some of their movies are, right? Michael Myers would be in D tier if that was the case, because my man has some fucking horrible movies. Like, he gets kung fu kicked into electricity by LL Cool J at one point. So, but as, like, a character, he's pretty goddamn iconic. Not quite Beetlejuice. Not quite these guys. I'm gonna put him, like, here, though. He's got, like, a cult status. You know? Now... was it Busta Rhymes? I don't fucking know. That movie is so bad. It was Busta Rhymes. My bad. I made a mistake. I mixed up my rapper actors. But, either way, he is iconic. He's what you think of when you think of Silent Hill, if you're not thinking of, like, James, who is also from 2. So, I'm gonna put him in B. Alright, that's like Jigsaw's apprentice, right? She's fine. I don't really have much to say about her because the actual Jigsaw is the guy, you know? This is a person who, like, to me is like a minion of Jigsaw, you know? At least it wasn't Ice Cube. I'd kind of want to see that. I'd want to see Ice Cube, like... kick Michael Myers into, like... No, I don't. That would suck. Yeah, Saw gets 3 slots. That's kind of fucked up. We're just gonna, like... I think of all of them, but I very much think of this guy more. So, let's just get the big guy out of the way. That's Jigsaw. Jigsaw has easily cemented himself, like, especially the puppet, as, like, a big boy horror icon, you know? The Billy the puppet. It's not... The puppet's not Jigsaw. It's named Billy. But, like, culturally speaking, absolutely. You see the puppet with the bow tie and the swirly cheeks, you know what they're talking about. What is this song? This is a very beepy, boopy, bloopy song. There we go. The puppet is about Chucky level. Yeah, I'd say so. Chucky's a little bit more iconic than him, but... you know, he is the same genre creature, I suppose it is also a puppet. One's a doll, one's a puppet. They're both little people. As far as the actual characters, I'm gonna put her in D. Like, she's in Dead by Daylight. But Jigsaw himself is a little bit more iconic. But I'm gonna say, when it comes to when you think of Saw, like, the mascot you put onto Saw is Billy the puppet. It's not Jigsaw himself. Like, when you think of, you know, my channel, you don't think of the man, the meat puppet. You think of PB. You know what I mean? Alright. Who is this guy? I don't know him. He looks like a goblin of some sort. This is the thing from Pan's Labyrinth? I'm not gonna lie, this thing is pretty goddamn iconic. Like, I don't know a single thing about Pan's Labyrinth except for, like... Oh, I must be thinking of something else. I'm thinking of the David Bowie movie. But, like, this thing is pretty damn iconic. I'm gonna put it right up here. I don't know a single thing about this movie, but I know this guy. You know what I mean? The weird guy who has, like, the eyeballs in his hands. Like, ew. So, yeah. I'm gonna put him in B. Man's thinking of Labyrinth, no Pan. See, I always confuse the two. Either way, this guy is iconic. Alright, this is... I can't is that... No, that's not Slappy the puppet. That's the puppet from Dead Silence. Okay, if that was Slappy from, like, Goosebumps... Actually, let me look it up real quick. Maybe that is Slappy. Slappy Goosebumps. It's not Slappy. I'm pretty sure it's not Slappy. Let me look up Dead Silence puppet. It is the Dead Silence puppet. I was correct. Okay. It's also named Billy, but I would say Billy is not quite as iconic as the other two fake little men. If it was Slappy, he'd go a little bit higher, but I'm gonna put him in D. Like, Dead Silence is a good movie. It is worth watching. It's made by the same guy that made Saw. But I didn't even... I mistook him for another man, so that puts him in D tier. I'm sorry. Are you excited for the new Frankenstein movie from Guillermo del Toro? I haven't even seen the trailer for it. So maybe I should check that out at some point. The fact we had to look him up shows you are absolutely right. Sam! Sam the man. My man Sam. Samuel. Oh, I love Sam. Sam is the main villain of Trick or Treat, which is the quintessential horror movie of Halloween. He's getting more iconic. Like, I would say Sam is easily an A tier now. Like, Sam used to be down in B and C, right? But as Halloween has become, like, more of, like, a thing for more people, and more people started seeing this movie, you started seeing a lot more stuff with Sam, right? You started seeing more, like, toys, and you can get, like, lollipops that are shaped like his that are already bitten. Low A tier, but kid is climbing the ranks. Absolutely. Sam is great. He's very much like... He looks like a trick-or-treater. He's actually got like a weird, gross alien... He's like a pumpkin creature. He's not an alien. He's like a gross pumpkin creature that if you were to like hurt him, he has like pumpkin guts inside of him. And yeah, it's because of Samhain. But yeah, great horror monster. Absolutely. I'm putting him in A. What is this? Some of these pictures are just so, like... I don't know what this is supposed to be. Is it like a bat creature? I don't know. I don't know. This is the spider thing from Coraline. Is it a scary-ass character? Yes. Is it an interesting character? Yes. Other Mother. This is called Other Mother. I don't think it's an iconic character. I think it's a good movie, right? Really good movie. The character herself is not iconic. And I feel bad saying that because I quite like Coraline. I've seen Coraline maybe like 3 times, and it's always been really good. And this thing is fucking scary. It is. But the fact that I didn't even know what it was called, and I know that this isn't its real form, it's just not very iconic. I'm sorry. What do you think of the book version? I've never read the book. I don't really read books that often. Alright, this is... Is that the babysitter? No, the babysitter's blonde. Who is that? I don't recognize that. The babysitter's blonde, right? Hang on. Babysitter horror movie. Yeah, no, the babysitter is blonde. I'm just thinking of another. Jennifer's Body. I've never seen it. I'm gonna put in who, and that's more so a criticism against me. Is Jennifer's Body any good? What is that movie about? I'm looking it up. Hang on. Jennifer's Body. It's Megan Fox. Yeah, it's D. It's D. This is the weird symmetrical girl from Orphan, isn't it? Also Paper Mario music. Awesome. The only thing I know about this movie is the cover, the weird symmetrical cover, which is a fantastic movie cover, but I never hear anyone talk about this movie. I never hear anyone talk about this character. I know it's called Orphan. So, let's put her in D. Like, the movie cover is iconic-ish. Not in a way that you even know what it's about, though. Slender Man, okay. Well, we gotta get Jeff the Killer and stuff in here as well, don't we? Slender Man is... I'm gonna put him in B. I'm gonna definitely put him in B. Because Slender Man is the very, very, very recognizable character from the internet. Wow, I said that like a really old person just now. Slender Man is the character from the internet. Slender Man is like the quintessential creepypasta, like internet horror forum board character. Slender Man used to be A tier. I would say he doesn't have the same kind of legacy that these characters have, though, you know? Like, Michael Myers can get shit on so much and still be Michael Myers. Slender Man gets shit on and people associate him with 12-year-old girls stabbing each other, which is very unfortunate. I learned that Slender Man was a character created for like a photography like contest where people were just, there was a guy who just made like scary photographs and then submitted them, and then it just won. They ruined Slender Man because of the movie. The movie I haven't heard anything good about. Slender Man has marble hornets. It has the first game, and then just random stories with him, right? I have to put him in B, though, because he is Slender Man. He is iconic. He doesn't have long-lasting cultural iconicness, though, that these do, because he just doesn't... He doesn't have a lot of staying power. He doesn't have a lot of, you know... He doesn't have enough good things that he's been in. That's the really crappy part. Alright. This is the creature from Amnesia. It's pretty goddamn scary in its context. I don't know if it's super iconic, though. I love this monster. I do. But at the same time, you kind of have to be a big nerd to know about this character. So, you don't really see a lot of stuff with it, right? You don't see merchandise. You don't see references to it. in its context, you can't even look at it that well. That's what makes it so scary. This is I'm very lovingly putting it in D, you know? Alright, this is the thing from Insidious. Iconic, I don't know. I don't know. It is memorable. But, see, Lop-Ear Link just proved my point. The fact that when everyone looks at this demon character and just says, oh, it's Darth Maul, kind of just, it puts it in D immediately. Redface, I think that's his name. In the movie, he has no name. He's just the demon that's trying to steal the little boy. And, you know, when the dad goes into, like, the dark world, he does see him in his weird, like, lair or whatever. But he himself is just not an iconic character. Especially because he doesn't matter after the first movie. You know? Honestly, I remember the, like, creepy lady more than I remember him. But, yeah, he was scary and striking originally. But he's not iconic. I'm sorry. Annabelle. Annabelle's pretty damn iconic at this point. There's no denying that. Like, I've never been a fan of the Annabelle movies. Especially because the doll is just... The real Annabelle is like a Raggedy Ann doll, right? This Annabelle is so... just... looks like a scary fucking thing that no one would ever actually in their right mind buy. You know what I mean? Because, like, the real Annabelle you could have, you know, like... You could see, like, someone buying that doll and being like, oh shit, I didn't know it was haunted. This fucking thing... You see it and you're like, Jesus Christ, no, throw that thing in the wood chipper, bro. But the thing is, the doll's look and how much you see it around is iconic. You know what I mean? Regardless of whether or not her movies are any good, she's up here. She very, very, very easily up here. Okay, the Babadook. That one's... This one's hard, man. This one's hard because anyone who knows about the Babadook is like, yeah, holy shit. But I'm gonna put him up... yeah. I'll put it in C because there is cultural relevance to it, you know? The Babadook himself is not actually like a thing. He's more so like a symbol of like the mother going crazy. He does not fit in Baby. He is actually kind of scary. But he's not as like he's not iconic. I know I keep saying iconic a lot, but that's what this list is about, you know? Yeah, I don't know why he has this behind him. The Babadook, I don't know why he's got a rainbow behind him. In his original context, he did not have a rainbow. But sure. Okay, that's the lady from PT, isn't it? I think that's the lady from PT. It looks kind of like the lady from PT. Lisa is her name. She herself is not iconic, but the impact she left on horror games absolutely is. Which is kind of a weird thing to say because that would imply that the character is iconic. You are correct. I agree with that. The hallway, I think, is more iconic than the character. I'm gonna put her in, like... I'm gonna put her in D. Not because she's not scary, but... The thing is, if you showed the average person Lisa, they wouldn't know what it's from. She just looks kind of generic, you know? That one feels bad. That one feels bad because PT is one of the most important horror things in existence. It is one of the most impactful pieces of horror media to have ever graced this planet. And I mean that with no exaggeration. But again, it's more so because of the hallway and not her. She's the scary thing in the hallway, sure, but there's more shit in there. Okay, that's a goat. I don't know what that's from. Is that from that, like, Spanish movie? What is that from? Oh, that's Black Phillip. Uh, it is a, like, folklore character, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna put him in Who. I think most people don't know who Black Phillip is. Okay. Moisturize. Ooh, thank you. Where's Freddy Fazbear? Freddy Fazbear is a horror icon. There's, yeah. Thank you. The Wendigo from Until Dawn. It's the Pilgrim Witch movie. Nobody knows who this character is. Alright, that is the Demogorgon. Is that the fucking Fortnite model of Demogorgon? Of all the models, of all the pictures of Demogorgon to use, why that one? He is pretty iconic, though. I would say he's getting up there. Like, I'll put him in B. He gets a high B. I can't really stretch while I'm in, just like a VTuber, you know? I can bounce, you know? You never watched Stranger Things? Ooh, you're missing out. Stranger Things, Season 1 is really good. 2 is not good the first time you watch it, and then it's way better the second time you watch it. 3, it makes me sad, because most of it takes place in a mall. And you know how I am with malls, but God, that season's not good, bro. I'm looking forward to... What was the one? Season 4 was the one that's like Spring Break, right? I like that one. That one was quite good. And I'm looking forward to Season 5. But I'm also glad it's going to be over, because that show needs to end. They did fuck up the mall season. Yeah, okay. You know what's fucked up? I'm going to yell about it for a second, okay? They make this amazing mall set, okay? They build a section... They take a section of a real mall and they make it into like an accurate 80s mall where they make all the stores like realistic to the time period. They make sure that everything is based on catalogs from that year. It looks amazing. That season, when I first saw that, I'm like, oh, they're gonna have like this really awesome thing where they're gonna be in the upside down version of the mall and the kids are gonna get caught in it and it's real scary. No. They didn't do that. Instead, the season 3 is mostly like a Russian spy espionage thing where they're discovering like a secret Russian base underneath the mall. And then they fight a big monster in the mall, and it's like, what the fuck is this, man? Why didn't you use the mall to make a scary version? It would have been like the best thing ever. You know how much people like liminal spaces. God damn, they missed it so hard, bro. I was so like upset. Whatever. I'll mourn. Is that... I don't know who this is. Is that the girl from, like, Fear? I don't recognize her. Just random creepy little girl. There can only be so many creepy little girls. I don't even know what this is. I can't even see. Have you played Resident Evil? What, like 7? I don't remember this character. I'm sure she's in there, but like when I think of Resident Evil 7, I think of Jack Baker, who is much higher than this character would be. Father, guess I've never played Bloodborne. I'm sorry. Plus, I think that there's only one kind of person that would recognize this character, and it's people that like Bloodborne. Again, okay, just gonna be real with you, man. I know that, you know, the grandma is like the main mold monster thing, right? I know she's the one. Jack Baker is so much more iconic, though. Jack is the one you think of. He's a way better character. Even, like, the mom is a better character. And Lucas, too. Whatever. Alright, the mom from Hereditary. I don't really think she's iconic. I think that the story she's in is iconic. The character herself is not. She herself is a victim. And part of what makes her, you know, more impactful is that she is just like a person who is suffering. I wouldn't say she's iconic, though, because this could be anyone. What the fuck is this? Ew. Also, I like that there's randomly, like, a little skull in the skull. What is this? Somebody tell me, please. Like... an undead... It's nothing! It's a random fucking monster. The bear from Annihilation, a Wendigo. See, nobody can... That's a bear. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Who is this? That's the teacher from Suspiria. I also don't know her. I've heard of Suspiria. I've seen film people talk about Suspiria. But I don't know if iconic is the right word I'd use for it. Some lady, yeah. This is awful looking, whatever the hell this is. What is this? There's so many, I don't know, I'm so sorry. I recognize most of them, but I think, honestly, maybe I don't recognize like a third of them, you know? I don't know what the hell that is. Is that a lady ripping her chest open? Why do I feel like I know this? This is a monster from A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place is not iconic because of its monsters. It's iconic because of the things that the people have to do to survive it. You almost never see the monster in A Quiet Place. So I'd say it's like nobody knows. Nobody cares. Okay, The Nun. I know The Nun. I've heard these movies are terrible. But everyone knows The Nun. Cake, what's overdone? Scary little girls or scary nuns? Scary little girls, hands down. Hands down, no contest. There are so many scary little girls. Ever since this one right here, The Exorcist, everyone wanted to use scary little girls as their thing. You have Fear, you know. There's like 16 scary little girls on this. It's so fucking overdone. Demons specifically like going after scary little girls, I guess because of vulnerability. But nah, I'm sick of scary little girls. Is the nun iconic? She kind of is, just like a little bit. I would say the character is known well enough. I hate to do this. I hate to do this because it's not. It's a well-known. It is a very well-known character, regardless of the movie being bad. Like, I think more people would recognize the nun over the Misery Lady. You know, is that valor earned? No, but I can't deny the truth. All right, we're getting close to the end. Who the fuck is this? I have no idea who this is. I'm starting to feel a little uncultured here. Like, the fact that I don't recognize some of these characters in general. I've never even heard of... What movie is she from? Somebody please enlighten me. Because when I'm not going to lie, when I first saw her, I was like, oh, Dora the Explorer, because I wasn't actually looking at the picture. It's Ma. See, the fact that you guys all know these characters and I don't makes... maybe y'all should be doing the tier list. Is that Mr. X? I think that's Mr. X. I could be so fucking wrong. It is Mr. X. Okay. Mr. X is not as iconic as Silent Hill's Pyramid Head. Again, this is another one of those, like, you kind of got to be a nerd to know this one, you know? Because everyone knows Pyramid Head, but, like... I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna put Mr. X a D. It's just... Ugh. Like, I kind of put him on this level where it's like... Yeah, if you're a big nerd who plays video games, like, you're definitely gonna know him. But the average person probably is not. Okay, this is the character from You, right? I don't know a single thing about this movie. I never see this character referenced. Was You any good? Or Us, I'm sorry. Yeah. I feel like I need to watch this movie, but I heard, like, mixed things about it, you know? As far as, like, the character being iconic, I don't think so. Like, I recognize them, but it's definitely not even close to anything else here. Maybe we should just start going through characters I do know. Because some of these are just like, I don't know who that is, I don't know who that is. That guy looks familiar. Is that the guy from Lost Boys? It looks like a shot from Lost Boys, but I could be wrong. That's Reverend Harry Kane from Poltergeist 2 and Chop Chop from Texas Chainsaw 2. Yeah, they're both going right into that, you know? God damn! Look at that gremlin! Holy fuck. She's iconic in her own way, you know? Nah, I'm putting her in baby tier. I'm sorry. Alright, that's Morticia Addams. Morticia Addams is very iconic. Like... Morticia Addams is who Elvira is, like, emulating. Addams Family has horror elements. You know? Like... You would associate Addams Family with horror a little bit, even though it's more like a comedy. It's more comedy, dark comedy that is horror themed, you know? But if we're talking about, like, the actual, like, iconicness of the character, the whole family, yeah, I'd say so. Like, you definitely have, you know, like, Thing and Uncle Fester and stuff. But if Morticia Addams is just like the poster child of the Addams Family here, either way, she herself is pretty damn iconic. Like, Morticia Addams at this point is an aesthetic, kind of like the way Elvira is, you know. Have you seen Wednesday? No, I didn't think it was aimed at me, so I never really gave it a shot. I like the Addams Family quite a lot, but I just didn't know if the show was any good. I know that my niece really liked Wednesday, so that was one of those things that's like, I don't know. Alright, what's next? I don't know. This is a guy with his face ripped off. God, I feel like an uncultured fiend. I miss Cousin It, man. I miss that Harry, man. Also, I can't fucking believe Evil Bong is here. Of all the goddamn characters to be in this list, Evil Bong. I've actually seen this movie. I haven't seen, like, half of the shit from these, right? But I've seen Evil Bong. Ooh, that movie's bad. But is the character iconic? The character is iconic to me. I'm gonna put her with Basket Case, though. You know? I don't know who that is. That looks like some found footage movie. This is... I know that this is from Midsummer. this scene is iconic, but the character, the character is not iconic. If you were to like assign Midsummer a character, it would be it'd be the girl. It'd be the main character who has the flowers in her head while she's like crying. You know, that's more iconic than the bear guy. I'm putting him in D. Like, that scene is really scary and shocking in the actual movie. He himself is not an iconic character. I actually know this one. This is the antagonist from Doctor Sleep. She's not iconic, but that movie is interesting. I'm going to put her next to... She's going to be, like, above these. I'm going to put this character just a little bit higher, just to be fair. There's a lot of characters in D. Midsummer? Yeah. Good movie, just not the best for iconic characters. The lead character of Doctor Sleep, or I should say the lead villain of Doctor Sleep, who is some kind of like energy vampire. She herself, I don't think she's very iconic, but Doctor Sleep isn't a bad movie. It is worth watching. It is a sequel to The Shining, but it is a worthwhile one. Okay, what is this? I have no idea. Invisible Man 2020. If it was like the Universal Invisible Man, I'd be like, hey, maybe, you know, maybe. This guy though, no, I'm sorry. Like, when I think Invisible Man, I think of the one where he's got like the glasses and he's got the bandages around and he's got like the he's got like the outfit, he's got like the robe, the jacket. That Invisible Man is iconic. This guy is not. Okay. Last but not least, we're gonna end this particular tier list strong because we have Art the Clown. As you know, I'm actually a pretty big fan of Terrifier, right? And Art the Clown is unique in that he is one of the most recent horror movie characters to reach just like actually iconic status, right? Like you'll see kids dressing up as him for Halloween. In fact, you know, looking back at this list, I feel like a lot of it could be based on like, would a kid dress up as them for Halloween? You know? Art the Clown is absolutely very high tier. Right? Like, he absolutely has like his place with all the big boys now, like very high up here, right? This one's tricky for me because I gotta be real, okay? I gotta be real. In my heart, Art the Clown is an S tier. However, he's still climbing his way up the ranks. However, he gets an A++. Because in recent years, and for horror overall, like, he's not a niche character at this point, right? Like, he is a major big boy horror guy that gets plastered all over Spirit Halloween. And the movie, like, that Terrifier 3, which came out last year, is the highest grossing unrated movie of all time, which is a record. Like, it is an uncompromisingly disgusting horror movie, and people love the shit out of it. I know it. The character is great. He's extremely entertaining to watch. I don't think older people... What is this? Oh, it's the WarioWare song. Okay. I'm skipping this just because I can't think with lyrics. I'm sorry. Here's my thoughts on Art the Clown, okay? He will be up here. I don't think he's quite up here yet, right? But he will be. He very, very much will be. Especially as time goes on and more people watch the Terrifier movies. As far as A goes, he's right under S. And even though in my heart, I think he's one of the best horror characters ever, and he is one of the most iconic, he's no Jason Voorhees. Not yet. Almost. Art the Clown is basically the only game in town for horror icons this decade. As far as, like, new horror icons, absolutely, but it is 100% earned. It is, like, the Terrifier movies are fucking scary, and they're gory. And he's uncomfortable to watch, but you love him, you know? He's got, like, a clear, distinct personality. He's got a performance that isn't like anyone else's. But if I put him in S, I feel like that's not quite... He's not quite up there with Ghostface, where these characters are just straight-up symbols, you know? Now, being that this is my tier list, there has to be a God tier, the God of horror icons. So, of course, we have our God tier. Also, Tycon, thank you, by the way. Cake, what's your opinion on, like, machine horror villainesses like Christine or the Green Goblin truck from Maximum Overdrive? I think that horror... see, I'm scared to say this because I feel like this is gonna bite me in the ass, universe-wise. I don't like them as much. Sometimes they're goofy, sometimes they're not, but I never think about them quite as often as I do, like, hero cars, you know? But we have to have a God tier, okay? Jeepers Creepers is not on here, no. What we got is what we got. So, who is the God tier of horror icons? Okay. It comes down to these three. I'm sorry, Ghostface, you're not the God. You are up here, but you're not these three, right? When it comes to, like, just pure iconicness, it's Jason, right? I think no one would disagree that it's Jason. But if we're talking, like, horror movie character that is, like, respected, it's Michael Myers, right? But I have to put my biases aside, okay? I have to put them aside. For me, it'd be Michael Myers. Just because Michael Myers is, one, he's the OG. Two, he has one of the most impactful screen presences when it comes to, like, a slasher movie ever. The character himself is just a simple, scary guy. Right? But he's barely a person. He's unexplained. And he's getting more and more, like, more iconic at this point. But if we're talking just, like, pure horror icons, there's no... I can't really deny it, even though Jason isn't my favorite character. Jason Voorhees is something that has transcended what it means to be, like, a horror icon. Jason Voorhees is a character that multiple generations of children dress up for as Halloween. Everyone knows the hockey mask. The hockey mask, this hockey mask right here, which is the old one, is so closely associated with Jason more than it is hockey. You know what I mean? He doesn't even get this mask until, like, the third movie. But I guarantee you, here's the thing. You know what sells it more than anything, okay? I want you to just... If you had a picture of this hockey mask on a wall, and it wasn't attached to anyone, it wasn't dirty, it didn't have any markings on it, but it's this old-style goalie mask, what do you think of first? Do you think hockey? Be honest with yourself. I want to know. Like, genuinely, what do you think of first? People call it the Jason mask. Yeah. he took this and made it so much his that it is no longer the thing that it was made for. You know what I mean? So it's Jason. And like I said, he's not my favorite. I think that other characters have things over him. Michael Myers is a scarier character than him, right? And just a more haunting presence. Freddy Krueger is more charismatic. But as like a symbol of like horror movie characters, like slashers, he's the guy. Easily the guy. Okay, well, Casey Jones is a fair thing, but Casey Jones has his own, like, hockey mask. He has his own, like, skull-shaped thing going on that is... When you look at Casey Jones's mask, you don't think, oh, that's a hockey mask. You think that's Casey Jones's mask. Jason Voorhees owns the hockey mask at this point. This one was hard for me to say, man. This one was hard for me to say because... If I had to pick my favorite horror characters, like, I'm picking these two, right? Jason Voorhees, man. However, you think we're done. You think that, oh, we have our horror icons list made up. That's it, right? Wrong. We have one more list to do. And because we've got more time. And it's a much shorter list. But... You might have noticed that on that list were none of the, like, really, really iconic, just, like, characters that transcend, you know, Jason Voorhees and Art the Clown and Michael Myers. Characters that are their own actual trope of character. And that's why we're going to do the classic Halloween monster tier list. While Jason may be the god tier of horror icons, no one gets above Dracula and Frankenstein, you know what I mean? So, let's go ahead and rank these guys. This is just what they've, this is how they've ranked it. I'm gonna keep it that way because it's very charming. Alright, so, starting off strong, Dracula is literally the king of monsters, okay? When you think of, like, horror character, and I don't mean, like, you know, specific movies, I think of, like, literally the idea of a horror monster. There is no one above Dracula. Okay? Dracula is the one that... If all the horror movie characters from, you know, the previous list were to take orders from somebody, it would be Dracula, okay? Every iteration of Dracula is good in some way, right? You got the Castlevania one from the show. You have Bela Lugosi, which his portrayal of Dracula is so iconic that his accent is him, you know? Dracula is already probably going to be the god tier of monsters, but we'll have to see. All right, we got a werewolf. Ooh. I've never been a big fan of werewolves. Some people love werewolves in a very special way. For me personally, I think a werewolf is like fine. You know? Like, it's up there. It's scary. It'll kill you. But it's not... When it comes to a werewolf, you don't really think of, like, a specific one, you know? You think of, like, the creature, and it's just, like, a big, scary wolf man. I'm gonna put him in, like, awe-inspiring, because he is important, you know? But he's no Dracula. Frankenstein! Oh my god, my man! So, well, technically Frankenstein's monster. I know someone out there is going to be like, well, actually, he's the monster. We all know this. Mirenhart, thank you. I'm almost done my gamer subs. Wow. Alright. Frankenstein is... He's either the same tier as Dracula or right under him, right? He's not... I'm going to put him up there with Dracula, just for now. Like, Frankenstein's monster is another thing that is literally a symbol at this point, you know? And it's one of those stories that people know even when they haven't seen it, you know what I mean? To be fair, he would take Dr. Frankenstein's last name if he was his child, technically. He doesn't have a name in the movies. I know in the book he doesn't have a name either. I think he's just called, like, the creature or something. But Either way, that's Frankenstein. You know? You know everything about him. Alright, Bride of Frankenstein. Not as much. Not as much. Everyone knows Bride of Frankenstein, but she is always an attachment to Frankenstein as opposed to having, like, her own stories. Her look is pretty iconic. You know, she's got the big streak through her hair. Bride is carried by name. Yeah, I'm gonna put her in, like, creepy. She's not all that important. Like, well, okay, compared to a lot of characters, she is. But, like, this list, I don't know. I don't know. Let's put her up above one. She's got a presence. I don't know what this is supposed to be. At first, I thought this was, like, a spooky skeleton, but there's a spooky skeleton right there. Is this the boogeyman? I see, like, a closet. I'm going to assume it's the boogeyman. A ghoul. I don't know, man. I really don't know. He seems like the boogeyman. I'm gonna say he's the boogeyman. The boogeyman is pretty fucking scary. He's up there. You know what I mean? Everyone's scared of the boogeyman. Because the boogeyman is the concept of, like, fear itself. You know what I mean? However, and I put my little finger up, however, you don't have a clear vision of the boogeyman unless you're thinking of Nightmare Before Christmas, in which he's a sack bug man. I'll put him here. I'll put him here because of that, because he doesn't have the same kind of, like, swagger and just long staying power as, like, Dracula. The devil himself. I'm going to assume this is the devil. I've never thought of the devil as being, like, a classic movie, like, classic horror monster, but he kind of is. You know? He's definitely, like, a symbol. And, I mean, I guess if you're saying lore-wise, he is, like, the ultimate evil, right? But there's part of me that finds the devil, like, a little silly. Even though the devil is, you know, to some people, the devil would rank higher than any of these. Symbol-wise, though, he is pretty important. I'm going to put him above. I'm going to put him above, like... I'm going to put him under Dracula. You know why? Maybe above the Wolfman, but, like, I feel like in a, like, classic horror setting, Dracula can probably tell him what to do, you know? Alright, that is a gargoyle, I'm pretty sure. It looks like a gargoyle. He's perched on top of, like, what looks like a church thingy. Maybe it's just my own bias of, like, what a gargoyle is, but aren't gargoyles, like, not evil? Like... aren't they, like, defenders, kind of? I don't know. They're not monsters, are they? Maybe I'm just thinking of the show. Gargoyle. Gargoyles are... let's see. They've always been, like, stone statues. They're, like, protectors of castles. I don't know. I wouldn't say they rank very high, honestly. I have no problem against gargoyles, but, like, it ain't no devil. You know, it ain't no Frankenstein. The Mummy. I've never really been a big fan of mummies. When I think of mummies, I think more of, like, a Halloween costume, you know? But mummies themselves are, like... one, if you've come across a mummy, you are in the wrong place. Because, like, mummies don't just get up and walk around. Mummies, like, are in their tombs. So if you're going into a tomb and a mummy comes after you, it's like... mummies to me are also zombie-ish, you know? Like, a mummy is kind of like a zombie with a new set of clothes, you know? They wrapped him in toilet paper. I'm not the biggest fan of mummies. I'm putting them kind of low, you know? This is a zombie, but the zombie itself looks like a pirate specifically here, but I'm going to just assume that this is a zombie. Zombies to me definitely rank higher than mummies, as far as, like, a classic horror monster. Like, Zombies are pretty fucking scary. I don't know. I don't know if I should put it higher or not. Like, it's a zombie. There's not really any specific zombies that are, like, scary. But the concept of a zombie in general is scary, and it's a very long-lasting thing. I'm gonna put zombie pretty high. I feel like zombies deserve to be high, you know? Anyone can make a zombie costume. Anyone can dress up like a zombie. But, you know, zombie movies and media are also pretty good, you know? And long-lasting, too. People still like zombies. What does a mummy even do when they catch you? A vampire drinks your blood. A zombie eats your brain/flesh. Does a mummy just beat the shit out of you? You know, I guess it depends on the intelligence of the mummy, because if the mummy is like a smart mummy, then it'll like do mummification things to you, like take your organs, which that scares the shit out of me. Let's recontextualize this list a little bit. Like, what do they actually do to you? I can't move Dracula and Frankenstein. Like, they get to stay on the top. Dracula will suck your blood. Frankenstein will kill you. He'll like strangle you. He's kind of like big and dumb in his movie setting. The devil is the devil. He will torment you for eternity. That's pretty bad. Zombies will bite you or rip you apart and probably turn you into a zombie as well. Werewolves will just maul you. They'll just rip you to shreds. You'll be dead. If you come across a werewolf, you're just straight up not surviving. You might survive against this guy. You might even survive against these guys. Well, you're probably not against Dracula. He's too powerful. But Dracula is basically a JoJo character. You're dying immediately. I don't even know what Bride of Frankenstein does. The boogeyman, I don't know if he drags you in the closet and kills you, or he just goes boo, you know? Depends on your version of the boogeyman. The mummy, if he takes my soul, I guess I'm kind of scared of that. I don't know. Gargoyles ain't gonna fuck with me. I'm not attacking any castles. Alright, the sheet ghost. The classic. This guy is one of the heavy hitters. I ain't gonna lie. He's up here. Like, what is more iconic than a sheet ghost? You know what I mean? And I really appreciate it specifically that they have like a sheet ghost. You know, he's not just like, it's not like a corporeal person. It is specifically a guy wearing a bed sheet with holes cut in the eyes. Like, hell, no, I'm putting the sheet ghosts up here with the big boys, okay? Like, when you think of the big Halloween 3, these are the guys, other than like a witch, which we'll get to her. Anyone can be a sheet ghost. The sheet ghost is so much the Halloween costume for everybody for decades, right? You still see people dressed up as sheet ghost. Now, the sheet ghost doesn't have a specific movie or anything, but it's a symbol at this point. Alright. So, I don't know what that's supposed to be. Let's move forward. The skeleton. Everybody's got one. Everyone technically is a skeleton that's just covered in things. But I find skeletons to be silly rather than scary. I don't know, like, what's a skeleton gonna do to you? You know? It has no muscles. I guess it would poke me? I don't find skeletons as... I rank them above mummies. I'll put them next to, like, werewolves. Like, yeah, okay, they're there. Like, they're spooky. They're iconic but not scary. Skeletons make for, like, good minions. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of spooky. But, God, a zombie is so much scarier. Alright. Swamp Thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're a big fan of, like, Universal monsters, I do not give a single heck about swamp monsters. Swamp monsters, to me, are just like, yeah, they're there. They're one of the Universal monsters, I suppose. They go... Skeletons go... Yeah, because of Skeletor making his silly noises, everyone associates skeletons as being silly little guys now. Or they make rattling noises. Swamp Thing, I don't... meh, I don't know. Headless Horseman. I'm not going to elaborate on this one. But I can't put this one low on any list. If you know me, you know why. Does he get the same kind of things as, you know, these guys? I don't think so. Hell, he may not be even as important as a werewolf or a skeleton. To me, just the concept alone, I'm putting him up here. If you know, you know. Death himself. I'm going to put Death, like, up here at the very top. I feel like the Grim Reaper is such a universal icon. And something that objectively is still, like, scary. You know what I mean? Like, here he has, like, his little angel wings, which I think honestly make him a little bit more unsettling. That is the Grim Reaper. That is the Grim Reaper. You can tell by the fact that the Grim Reaper is basically a skeleton wearing clothes with a weapon, which is scarier, you know? Which of these icons would you turn to a busty boy? We need to finish the joke or not the joke. We need to finish the list before we can start doing that. Because, like, that's a whole different discussion. Okay, witches. Witches are... God, okay, they are so up there with the others, right? They really are. Fuck it. No, witches are going up here. There's a lot of good ones here. Wow. What's more iconic than a witch other than these guys? Whenever you see Halloween stuff, witches are always there. You know? Like, I would say if you had to pick any Halloween monster, like, maybe you'd have the skeleton there too, but, like, it's always these guys. It's always like, little kid Halloween things are gonna be these. There are probably more people having worn these costumes than any other thing combined. You know what I mean? The Black Cat. I would say witches are above the Black Cat. Witches, because of, like, Wizard of Oz specifically, I think they're so iconic that they've transcended, like, being a specific person. If it's not Drac, it's a witch. Yep. Absolutely. There's two kinds of people in this world. There's Dracula people and there's witch people. Alright, these two, I have no idea what these are. I think one of them is supposed to be like a scarecrow. This guy's a scarecrow. I can tell by the crow. Scarecrows are pretty iconic. I'm not a big fan of this picture, frankly. But, like, I don't know. Scarecrows are pretty, like, they're, like, I'm going to put them on the same realm as, like, skeletons, you know? Because, like, a spooky scarecrow is impactful. And, you know, as far as, like, a Halloween decoration goes, you can never go wrong with a spooky scarecrow. But no matter what setting, the Scarecrow is under other things. Like, even in Batman, you know, the Scarecrow villain is not a high-tier villain. He's always one of the lower-tier ones. Oh no, the Horseman is already up here. Listen, this isn't just jack-o'-lanterns. This is the Headless Horseman. He's headless. Oh, that's Stingy Jack! Okay, well, where's his lantern? If that's actually, like, Stingy Jack, then he's not as iconic, but he is important. I don't know. They need to, like... I think the last one is just a generic pumpkin-headed monster. Stingy Jack doesn't have a pumpkin head, though. Sometimes he's shown with one, but... yeah, I'm putting him down here. You know why? Because nobody knows. But I'd say that's a pretty definitive list of these classic spooky things. Now keep in mind, these guys, all of them, have transcended the characters that they started as. They are straight up symbols. This is literally the concept of death. Okay, so he's something that I think literally all human beings are scared of. Let's go through the list. Because this is God tier. Actually, let's match. Let's match the uppercase lettering. All right. So, out of all the classic Halloween monsters, okay, we got some bangers here. Of course, you have Dracula, who is probably going to end up in this tier. You know? Like, that's Dracula. I don't even know what else to say. That's the thing for a lot of these. I don't know how much to elaborate on them because they're just so much, you know? They're so there and always there and symbolic and important. Everyone knows what you're talking about when you talk about Dracula and Frankenstein, the Grim Reaper. But we got to keep something in mind. This is classic Halloween monsters. There's only one that deserves to be at the top. And it's the damn sheet ghost. Nothing is scarier than a spooky ghost. Anytime you show someone a picture of a ghost, they scream. Have you ever noticed that? Anytime I'm hanging out with the boys and a sheet ghost pops up, everybody screams. People can show up as witches, they can show up as Dracula, or even Death, or even Satan. But this guy, I think, genuinely, this is the king of Halloween. Like, other than, like, jack-o'-lanterns, right? Which jack-o'-lanterns are the symbol of Halloween, but they're not on this list because they're not monsters. They're things that keep monsters away. This guy, easily, is the most classic of all the Halloween monsters. If you were to give monsters a symbol, or just like spooky things a symbol, it's a sheet ghost, isn't it? Always. You were even scared of the sheet ghost thing in the mall. That's right. That thing freaked me out. You get a good sheet ghost, by the way, like, obviously, jokes aside, you know, if you get like an actually good, well done, like, scary sheet ghost, it's unnerving. But if we're talking just like classic Halloween creature, nothing beats the sheet ghost. Prove me wrong. Sheet ghost is the scariest because he could be completely naked underneath and you'd never know. There's something I have to show you guys at some point. But Charlie Brown sheet ghost, well, he's only got 2 eye holes. If it was a Charlie Brown sheet ghost, it would have like holes all over, and you would only get rocks. It's always got to be a ghost, though. Some people could argue skeletons, but nah, man, the sheet ghost is above the skeleton. Sure, you'll see skeletons everywhere, right? You'll see Frankensteins. You may see Frankensteins and witches more than Dracula, you know? Dracula, I think, is the most iconic character of all of these. Like, someone with an identity, you know, Vlad Dracula. Is this Earthbound music? Ooh, interesting. Ooh, scary. That's right. Multiple sheet ghosts scared Garfield. Either way, the list is as it is. And I can't help but put this guy on top. So, that being said, yeah, ghosts are impossible to escape hearing about Halloween. Yep, it's true. This is the guy. So, that being said, there's no sheet ghost movies. Bro, there doesn't need to be a sheet ghost movie. That's the thing. Why hasn't there been a sheet ghost movie? Someone needs to get on that. Somebody at, like, Blumhouse needs to make a damn sheet ghost movie that's like sincere. You know what I mean? Also, if we're talking about like what character would be the best for like a busty boy, let's consider our options, okay? Dracula is sexy as fuck. if you wear a Dracula costume, immediately your sex appeal is like brought up by like 20 points. So Busty Boy Dracula, excellent. Busty Boy Frankenstein, maybe not as much. Like you could have Frankenstein elements in your Busty Boy and it'd be kind of cool, like, you know, neck stitches implying the head comes off, that'd be cool. But Dracula's a little sexier. Witches are already sexy. So a Busty Boy witch is, well, first off, that's a wizard. Second off, sure. The Sheet Ghost as a Busty Boy is phenomenal because I've actually drawn Busty characters wearing a ghost sheet before, and there's something about it that just accents boobs super well. So maybe that, you know. Literally twink death. Grim Reaper Busty Boy, not as much. I'm not feeling it. Busty Boy Satan is kind of awesome. I could fuck with a Busty Boy Satan. Hell, there are depictions of Satan where, like, or a version of a Satan-like creature that has boobs, so that's not even incorrect. Busty Boy Zombie, anyone could be a zombie. So, if we're talking, like, classic, like, green zombie, yeah, you could see it. Busty Boy Headless Horseman. I mean, I would like it. I don't know if other people would, but, you know, I would be okay with that. Busty Boy Werewolf, that's... I'm sure there's, like, a billion people out there that are like, hell yeah. I'm sure there's Busty Boy Werewolf characters just on the account of being a furry. So, yeah. Busty Boy Skeleton. Now, this one's interesting because in order to make a busty skeleton, you basically have to tie, like, water balloons to the chest. So at that point, it's just up for interpretation. I have drawn a Cassie skeleton before that had, like punch balloon boobs in order to maintain her balance. Busty Boy Scarecrow, I could fuck with it. I've got no problem with a Busty Boy Scarecrow. Busty Boy Bride of Frankenstein, I mean, I don't know. Busty Boy Boogeyman, I don't think I'd mind the Boogeyman if he was a Busty Boy. I feel like it would kind of diminish the scariness a little. Maybe I'd look forward to him coming out more, you know? Fuck, that's why he's in the closet, bro. He's coming out. Busty Boy Mummy, you, as mid as I think mummies are, busty characters with bandages wrapped around them is a great time. You can... The only thing that's covered is what you want to be covered. So you can have cleavage, you can have under boob, you can tie it real tight and squish boobs. This is like a god tier boob costume. Swamp Thing it exists, I suppose. It's slimy, not my thing. A Busty Boy Gargoyle might be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind a Busty Boy Gargoyle. To me, gargoyles are already sexy because I think of the Disney show. And also, I guess if this is supposed to be like Stingy Jack, I don't know. Kind of neutral on that. As far as the best Busty Boy costume, we're going to have to give it to the Mummy. But again, if we're talking like Halloween monsters, it's the Ghost. So, either way. With that being said, my throat is getting sore, and I have to go watch Over the Garden Wall. So, I hope you have enjoyed this all over the place horror monster thing. We finally found out which are the best ones. You know, as far as horror icons go, it's Jason Voorhees. And as far as just like a thing that is a Halloween monster, nothing beats the Sheet Ghost. So, thank you guys for coming to this stream. I'm gonna head out, and I will see y'all later. By the way, I am working on a Halloween costume, a new one this year. I started today. So, don't know when that's gonna be done. I'm gonna try to finish that as fast as I can. But, yeah, I'll see y'all later.